So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a concrete schedule for varying grade. So concrete calculation in Revit, I have made a separate video to calculate a concrete for a M20 grade concrete. So here the concept is totally different, but in case if you are a beginner, watch this video first, then try the next video for a varying grade of concrete. Okay, so I will give this link in the description. Let's continue with the varying grade of concrete. Okay, so I'm going to show you how. So first, what do I need to have all the table values in Revit? I should go to view and take schedule, and then in schedule and quantities, here in the multi category you cannot select schedule keys, so you have to go to each category. For example, I'm going to walls first, and I'm going to say schedule keys. Here you can type a key name. So our key name is concrete grade. Okay, I'm going to say okay. So here you can see, so I have only two parameters. Okay, so I need another 3 parameters for cement requirement for per cubic meter, sand requirement per cubic meter, and aggregate required per cubic meter. So I'm going to create a shared parameter. Okay, here, so I'm going to create a new parameter. So when you're creating a parameter, create in a shared parameter. So when you're selecting the shared parameter, so you have to select shared parameter file. So I'm going to edit, and I don't have this file. Okay, let's consider that I don't have this file, so I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to create a new one. Okay, let's give a new name. Okay, I'm giving concrete schedule name and save. You can give your own name, any name you can give. This is just a naming for shared file. Okay, just save, and here you can see by default it will select the same file, concrete schedule.txt, and here you can see you don't have anything. Here it is, everything is blank. So first what you have to do, you have to create a new group. So I'm creating a new group saying that concrete, let's say concrete parameters. So I'm giving a group name, and here you can see now the new button is on. Here I can select a new, and I can say requirement of cement per meter cube. So meter cube, so I don't have a cube symbol here in my keyboard. So what I have to do, I can go to character map application. So here you can find the 3, it's a cube, it's here. In case if you don't find here, then go to advanced view. Here you can select western. Okay, and here you can see 3. I'm going to select, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste here. Okay, discipline, let it be common, so that we can use for all the discipline category. Type of parameter, so requirement of cement going to be numbers. So I'm going to say numbers, I'm not giving any unit. So number will be general, so I'm selecting number parameter. And here if you want to type any helping notes, you can type here. Per meter cube, Control V, yes, and say okay. and say OK. So first parameter is ready. I'm going to create one more requirement of sand and requirement of aggregate. Create a new parameter of sand per meter cube. Okay, common number, and say OK. Create a new parameter requirement of aggregate per meter cube, common, and this should be number. Okay, so let's add a requirement of water also. I'm creating a new one. Say requirement of water per meter cube. Okay, so here I can type a tooltip. Water quantity in liters. Yes, I'm going to say OK, and then say OK. So now we have all these shared parameter, and I'm going to select cement first, and I'm going to say OK. It's a shared parameter. Group under identity data. You can select anything, but I'm going to select identity data. Why don't we select something else? Data. Let's say data. Okay, so here say OK and create a new parameter. So next time your parameters are ready always, so you can just select second sand. I'm selecting sand, yes, and third one, go here, select aggregate and say OK. Group under data. OK, so here you can select and you can edit. Group parameter under data. So here you have to select which category it will be applicable. So here I'm going to say the parameter going to be applicable for all, and I'm going to say OK. Select a cement requirement, go to edit type. Actually you can select all the structural elements. Okay, and I'm going to say OK. Select, edit, so group under data, check all the category. I'm going to say OK. So here if you edit again, so you can see it's checked. So better you can check only structural elements. Okay, and check all. Even for grid this parameter is not required, so whichever you don't want you can uncheck, and now you can say OK. So now we have the parameters. So let's add one more. Go to shared parameters, select water, OK, and group under data and say OK. Here go to edit type, check all, say OK, OK. So now you can see you have the title. So here whatever the data we need we can enter. So what you have to do, you have to insert rows. and then you can type your own. So it's a key name. So our key name is our grade. Let's type M5. Yes. So after entering, what you can do, you can select the column and you can, so I'm going to maximize, check the units. You can keep this as fixed unit, 2 decimal places, and use digital grouping and keep this in the right side, alignment right side. Select unit, change the unit to fixed, 2 decimal places, and digital grouping. Select, check unit, fixed, 2 decimal places, keep this in the right. So here you can see the title is showing wall style schedule. That's okay. If you want, you can change the title also if you want, but this is not going to be visible in the schedule. So this is for our reference. This is actually a background work. Okay, so with this only we can do our next schedule. Let's keep it in the right side. Okay, so I'm going to close. So we have created key schedule for one category, that is wall. So we have to do the same for a column, beam, and floor, and staircase, and whichever the elements you need. Go to schedule and quantities, select the next category. Next category is your structural column, and select schedule keys, structural column style. So key name is concrete grade, and say OK. And here, so all the parameters are available now, you can add them here. So here cement, I'm going to keep it in the top, so you have to use this button to move it up and down. Aggregate, move it down, cement, sand, aggregate, and water, and say OK. So we have the title. Let's add rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here let's add M5, keep them in capital, M5, M7.5, M10, M15, click M20. Requirement of cement, let's do the same, keep them in the left side. So here I can see them clearly. Okay, M5 2.7. so have a quick check. So here now you can check the units, select, go to format. So here change it to 2 decimal. So let's do them, select everything. So this is not active, so I should do it one by one. Keep them to the right. Okay, structural column style schedule, this is ready. Let's do the same for the next one. Go to view, schedule and quantities. Here select floors, We don't have anything like a structural floor, so it is just floor only. Okay, key schedule, key name concrete grade, and say OK. So from here to here I'm going to select, add them, cement, keep them in the top, sand next, then aggregate, then water, and say OK. Add rows, click here, 2 3 4 5, key name M5, M10, M15, M20. So here keep them left, M5. So you are supposed to enter one by one, so for now I don't have other option, so until I find other option I'm going to type. So now I'm going to maximize, then format unit, keep them fixed, 2 decimal places, select the column, format, uncheck, fixed, 2 decimal places, and say OK. So now select everything and keep them to the right. OK, close. So wall structure framing, so what type, go to 3D view, type PP. So I got the properties dialog box, so go to view, user interface, project browser. So I have my project browser now, let's keep it in the right side. So here we can see structural column style schedule, wall style, floor should be here, floor style. So 3 we are having, structural framing we are supposed to do. So let's go to view, schedule, schedule and quantity, here select structural framing. So we have to do it for structural foundation also. Let us do one by one. Concrete grade, say OK. So I'm going to select till here, cement, sand, aggregate, water. OK. Pin set row 1 2 3 4 5. So here I'm going to type M5. So let's check quickly. So always do a cross check whenever you do it, because everybody makes mistake. Here you can see 8.2, so I have typed 82. So now this is fine, here it is fine, here it is fine, here it is fine. Okay, so we have to do it once again. Go to view, schedule, schedule quantities, and select structural foundation, schedule keys, concrete grade. and say OK. Cement, sand, aggregate and water, say OK. Insert row 1 2 3 4 5, so keep them in the left side. Okay, so keep it 2 decimal places. Select everything, give it to the right side. Okay, so finally we have created key schedule for all of them. Okay, so before creating the schedule, so what we have to do, go to 3D. Here you can see, so this is our all the concrete elements. We have the door also. So before keeping the schedule, before making the schedule, what you have to do, you have to select each and every element and you have to assign concrete grade. So in the property bar, okay, so to keep it more visible, I'm taking it here. So you can see, so each and every element you have to select and assign concrete grade. So here you can see now it is none, so I have to change it to what grade it is. So here once I assign, you can see under data, so you can see a requirement of cement per meter cube. So I have this value 1 2 3 4, so all the values I have. So I'm going to show you again. I'm selecting the foundation. Here you can see under data these are blank now. So once I assign concrete grade, any grade you can assign. Once you assign, it is populating the values. Okay, to make this quickly, so I'm going to assume that the first, okay, so let's give a mixed grade of concrete. So whatever is there this side except the door, whatever is there this side, okay, I'm going to filter and I'm going to uncheck shaft opening and door. So I have floor, column, foundation, framing and wall. I'm going to say OK. In the property bar, so I have my property bar. Here you can see, oh, here you can't see the concrete grade. Okay, so what do we have to do? Go to filter and select only floor this time and say OK. So assign, now you can see concrete grade, assign it for a concrete grade. So I'm going to say M20. So here we can see now this is for per cubic meter only, so it is there. I'm going to select again, go to filter, check none, select only one category, structural column. I'm going to say OK and I'm going to assign concrete grade. Here you can select M20 and I'm going to select again, filter, select only one category, structural foundation, and I'm going to say OK. So I'm going to select M20. So I've done for everything. So wall I have to select everything, filter, check none, say wall and say OK. concrete grade, select M20. So here you can see the values. I think I have selected everything. So from this side, so up till here, filter, check 9, floor, and here concrete grade, keep it M15. Select till here, filter, check 9, structural column, concrete grade M15. Check till here, filter, check none, select structural foundation, say OK, concrete grade M15. Check everything, filter, check none, structural framing, OK, and here you can select concrete grade M15. So here in the project we have used only 2 grade. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to populate calculations. Go to view, schedule, take material takeoff, and select multi-category, and here you can name. So whatever name you want you can give here. Total concrete quantity, concrete material quantity, right? Okay, so let it give some number so that it will be an unique name, phase, latest phase, and say OK. So here, so I want to sort, so here I want to sort the schedule with the associated level parameter I have created. So by default you won't get. To know how to create associated level, please watch my first video. So select associated level and say material volume, select material volume. Then what else we need? Here you can see requirement of aggregate. So you have to add all these. Now I'm going to say OK. So you can see here, so this is your schedule with the associated level. So I'm going to sort this level and category now. So I'm going to property bar, take property bar, go to view, interface, properties, and keep them on the right side. Okay, let's keep this also. Okay, go to properties. Here in the field, select, you can select any button, so you'll get the same window, and then go to filter. So this material, it's a multi-category, so you will get the door also. Select category not equal to, does not equals door, and say OK. So from this schedule now the door will be removed, and I'm going to select sorting and grouping. So I'm going to sort this with associated level, and then I'm going to sort this with the category. Here header and footer I'm going to say, and the quantity I need, title and totals. So till here I need itemize every instance, so let's say OK. So here you can see associated level foundation. So associated level parameter I have created. If you want to know how to create associated level parameter, please watch my first video. So here we have all the data we have, and we can see some of the rows are empty. So we are going to check why it is empty. Okay, so select in the property, it's not showing. Go to 3D view. So this is our frame. Here you can see the concrete grade not assigned. So I think structural framing for this portion, it is not assigned. I'm going to filter, check then structural framing, select OK. Here you can see concrete grade, it is none. I'm going to select and say M20. Okay, so now we can go back to our schedule. So here now everything is filled. Yes, so I don't want to read each and every row. So initially I need all the row to check is every cell is filled with numbers. So now I know that it is filled with numbers. So now I'm going to sorting and grouping, and here you can check, uncheck, itemize every instance, and in the end I need grand total. Let's say title and total and say OK. So to create a total value, go to properties, go to field. Here you can find add calculated parameter. So here you have to select and give a name. So here you can give required cement, so I'm typing required cement quantity, formula, let it be common, number. Here you have to select material volume, and I'm going to say OK. And first of all, so to solve the unit, I'm going to say divided by 1 and just enter, say OK, and go and edit. Here now you can multiply with, so here we are having cement quantity, so required cement per meter cube, say OK and say OK. So I'm going to create once again calculator, add calculated parameter, click here. So here you have to select and type a name. So required sand quantity, required sand quantity, common, number, its formula. So I'm going to add material volume divided by 1 and say OK, edit again, multiply by required sand per cubic meter and say OK. Let's do it again. Required quantity of aggregate, common, number, formula. So here I'm going to select material volume, so here we can see cement, sand and aggregate we have created. So let's create for water also, add a calculated value. Here required T of water in liters, and formula common, number. So here open brackets, go to material volume, say OK, divided by 1 and say OK, go to edit. Now you can see meter cube is added, and that's why I'm going to multiply requirement of water per meter cube. Say OK. So now I can say OK. Now you can see. So let's see them in the with every instance. So we should have all the cells populated. So I'm going to check them again. So I have values for all the cells. So what do I need? Here I have lots of decimal places. So I'm going to solve them now. Here let it keep it as fixed 2 decimal places. Use the digit grouping. Select this column, format unit, uncheck. Select fixed 2 decimal places. Use digit grouping. Select format unit. Take it as fixed 2 decimal places. Use digit grouping. Yes. So now keep all of them in the right side. Okay, now I'm going to field here, sorting and grouping. I'm going to uncheck itemize every instance. So now you can see these are varies, so that's okay. So this is happening because we have to format requirement of sand quantity, aggregate and water. So here we have to select calculate a total and say OK. So now, so everything got populated. Now I'm going to close them. So to keep it visible, I'm going to properties, select, right click, new sheet. So I'm not selecting any title block. I'm just going to show you what I have created. So this is what I have created, the total concrete material quantity. So here I can change the title. Let's say concrete material quantity. That's also a unique name. Okay, and keep this title 5 font size, keep them bold, keep it in red color and add some shading. Okay, let's close and see how it looks. So I'm just going to do some corrections for this title. Select font, so keep the size as 4, bold, color blue, let's give brown. Double click, select again, keep them center, middle, and give some shading and say close. So requirement of cement per meter cube. So these columns we may not need. So we have to double click. Let's hide whatever we don't need. Per meter cube, let's keep it hide. Requirement of cement per meter cube, hide. So this is also you can hide. Requirement of water per meter cube, here we can find the varies per meter cube we can hide. So I have the volume. Here we can see associated level. I have the title already, so I'm going to hide. So now this is looking somewhat decent. requirement of sand, requirement of aggregate. So yes, so I have the title here, I have title again here, so I'm going to remove this foundation. So here I'm going to field in the sorting and grouping. Here you can say totals only and say OK, close. Yes, required cement quantity, so I'm not getting the value. Double click. So let's check required cement quantity. Why don't I get required cement quantity? Select, here you have to select calculate total and say OK. So now you can see you have a lot of decimal places. Select the column, select format unit, uncheck keep them fixed, keep it to the 2 decimal places and keep them in the right side middle. Yes, close. So now we have the values. Okay, so here you can see everything is center, but this one is aligned to right side. So let's select only these title again, keep them center and middle, close. Select, so you can reduce the column. Looks better. Here I don't know what unit it is, so I'm going to type requirement of cement in bags and all this in cubic feet and this is in liters. So here I'm going to type so requirement of cement quantity, so bags. Here you have to select and put an enter. Here open bracket CFT close bracket, enter. Here also press in open bracket CFT close bracket, select here and enter. Let's go here. So this enter is not working, is it? Select, you should enter. This is supposed to come in the second line. Let's give some space. Let's give a space. Close. Looks better. Let's keep the outline visible. Let's do some magic. Come here, go to appearance, strip rows, second row with the color of this one. Let's say OK. Keep the outline thin line, that's fine. Grid in headers. Wow, we are getting a colorful shadow. So let's increase the data size. So here go to appearance again. Here text title, so we have kept 5. Body text we have kept 4. So let's keep it as 3.5 and say OK. It looks big now. That's what I need. So here you can see in category foundation level, structure of foundation. So we have all these values, and for the associated level foundation to ground floor, so we have the category and values. category and values. Here we are missing one value, that is our concrete grade. So concrete grade, I don't have it here. So because for the quantity of concrete, for which grade how much material I need to calculate. So for that, what am I going to do? I'm going to create one more parameter saying concrete grade. So I'm going to schedule, wall style schedule. So here in the properties, add one more parameter, new parameter. This is also supposed to be shared parameter. I'm going to select here. So here I don't have anything, so I'm going to create a new one, new parameter, say concrete grade. Common, and this is supposed to be text, and say OK. Say OK. OK. So here it is there. I'm going to keep them in identity data. It can value by group instance, and say OK. Say OK again. So I need the same key name here. Select, keep them to the center. Yes. So I have created for wall. So I have to create for foundation, structural foundation. Go to properties, field, add a new material, shared parameter, select concrete grade, keep them under identity data, and say OK. Type them again, M5, close. Go to the next schedule, structural column, double click, go to properties, field, add parameter, say shared parameter, select concrete grade, OK, keep them under identity data, and say OK. OK. M5, M7.5, M10, M15, M20. So keep it to the center, close. Column is done. Next, go to framing. Close. So here in the schedule, I'm going to segregate the value with the concrete grade. So let's double click. So here we have to add a concrete grade, select concrete grade. Now it is available. Keep them here. Let's keep it to the top. Okay, and I'm going to say OK. So here you can see concrete grade. So here it is varying, so I'm going to sorting and grouping, and here is a concrete grade, and say OK. Yes, now I can see the values with the concrete grade with all the quantities. Looks fantastic. And close. concrete grade. Now it looks fine. So starting from foundation, I have structural foundations having M20 and M15 grade. So I have all the values here and I have the total value also. So the same thing happening for all the level with all the category grand total. So I'm having the total also. So here you can see I have some test wall so that I can check my all the values are right or wrong. So what am I going to do? I'm going to draw some walls to check my quantity. So what I have to do, go to architecture, select wall, keep them as structure wall. Okay, let's draw the wall. This wall quantity is supposed to be 1 meter cube accurate. So 1 meter height. So volume is 1 meter cube. Okay, so I'm going to assign this concrete grade as M5. Let's copy the same 1, 2, 3, 4. So totally I have 5 wall. I'm going to select the second wall. I'm going to say it is 7.5. Select the third one and say it is 15. Fourth one. So fourth one supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4 M15. Fifth one supposed to be M20. Select again and check M5, M7.5, M10, M15, M20. Now I'm going to check my schedule whether it is right or wrong. So what I have to do, go to the schedule again, concrete material quantity. So here you can find test. So let's select all the wall, select property, here associate level, say it's test, go to browser, let's go and see in the sheet. Here you can see under test associated level I have all the grade M5, 7.5, 10, 15 and 20, all 1 meter cube, and here you can say 2.7, 3.8. so this schedule I can check something else is happening. So I'm finding some mistakes. Required quantity of aggregate 1. Why it is 1? Let's find what is the issue. Double click, go to view, user, property bar, field. So let us check required quantity of water in liters. Go to edit, requirement of water per meter cube. So this is correct. Aggregate, edit. So here we have not multiplied, the formula is wrong, so check always. It is better to have a habit of checking. Multiplying by aggregate, requirement of aggregate per meter cube, volume, requirement of aggregate per meter cube, say OK. So required sand quantity, go to edit type, requirement of sand per meter cube. Okay. Cement, go to edit type, requirement of cement per meter cube. Okay, good. Now we are in a good position. Say okay. Now the values are changed. Now this is supposed to be right. And check again. M5 values are here: 2.7, 6.4, 33.27, 60. Right. 7.5, 3.38, 16.64, 33.27, 45. M10, 4.5, 16.64, 33.27, 34. Then M15, 6.4, 15.82, 31.65, 32, 8.2, 15.01, 30.16, 30. This is right. So now we have the right values. So now we can say that all the categories are right. In case if you want to check, you have to check your key schedule, then all the formula, but you don't have to do this for every project. Once you create the schedule, you can keep the schedule and you can transfer the schedule to one project to other project. So that's good. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.